Ever wondered what secret language powers the universe of hyperspace travel in Star Wars? Is it some complex code, a mystical chant, or maybe just a really fast dial-up connection? Well, today we're diving deep into the technical side of a galaxy far away, specifically focusing on one crucial question. What language does Lightspeed use? Now, before we jump into the specifics, let's set the stage. Lightspeed, or hyperspace travel, is the bread and butter of interstellar adventures in Star Wars. It's how our heroes zip across vast distances, visiting exotic planets, escaping imperial entanglements, and generally getting into all sorts of galactic mischief. But the movies themselves don't exactly give us a clear answer about how this incredible feat of engineering actually works. They focus more on the visual spectacle, the swirling vortex, the sudden jump to light speed, the exhilarating rush, rather than the nitty-gritty details of the technology. And that's where we come in. We're going to explore the different possibilities, delving into both canon and legends materials to try and piece together the most plausible explanation for the language behind Lightspeed. We'll be looking at everything from the navigational systems to the hyperdrives themselves, and even touch upon the role of astromech droids in the whole process. So, let's start with the most obvious question. Is there a specific programming language used to initiate and control hyperspace jumps? The short answer is probably not, at least not in the way we typically think of programming languages. While computers and droids are integral to starship operations, including navigation and hyperdrive calculations, there's no evidence to suggest that a dedicated hyperspace programming language exists. Instead, it's more likely that the systems involved rely on a combination of pre-programmed parameters, real-time calculations, and potentially even some degree of intuitive interface. Think of it like a modern aircraft's autopilot system. Pilots input flight plans, waypoints, and other data, but the system itself handles the complex calculations and adjustments needed to keep the plane on course. Similarly, in Star Wars, pilots likely input destination coordinates, and the ship's navigation systems, aided by the hyperdrive, take care of the rest. Now, what about the role of astromech droids like R2-D2? These little guys are often seen interfacing with starship systems, making repairs, and even calculating hyperspace jumps. Do they use a special language to communicate with the ship's computer? Again, it's unlikely. Astromech droids seem to communicate primarily through binary language, a series of beeps and whistles that conveys information. While this binary language might be used to interact with the ship systems, it's more of a general communication protocol than a specific programming language for hyperspace. It's important to remember that Star Wars is a science fantasy universe, not hard science fiction. While there are technological elements, the focus is on storytelling and adventure, not necessarily on scientific accuracy. So, while we can speculate about the technical aspects of hyperspace travel, it's important not to get too bogged down in the details. The writers and filmmakers likely prioritized narrative convenience and visual appeal over strict adherence to scientific principles. However, that doesn't mean we can't have some fun exploring the possibilities. Let's consider the idea of hyperspace coordinates. How does a ship know where to go when it jumps to lightspeed? Clearly, there must be some way to specify a destination. These coordinates could be based on a galactic grid system, a network of hyperspace routes, or even some kind of quantum entanglement between 2 points in space. Whatever the method, the ship's navigation computer needs to process this information and translate it into instructions for the hyperdrive. This might involve calculating jump trajectories, adjusting for gravitational fields, and ensuring a safe arrival at the intended destination. And this is where the concept of a language might come into play, albeit not in the traditional sense. Instead of a programming language, it's possible that the hyperdrive system relies on a set of specific instructions or parameters that are unique to each jump. These instructions might be based on complex mathematical equations, physical constants, or even some kind of unknown energy field. The ship's computer would then translate these instructions into the necessary adjustments for the hyperdrive, initiating the jump to lightspeed. Think of it like a recipe. You have a set of ingredients and instructions that, when followed correctly, result in a delicious cake. Similarly, the hyperdrive system might require a specific recipe of instructions to execute a successful jump. This recipe could be considered a kind of language, a set of instructions that the system understands and responds to. Now, let's delve into the Legends material for a moment. In the expanded universe, there's mention of hyperspace lanes, pre-established routes that ships can follow to travel through hyperspace. These lanes are maintained and regulated by various organizations, and they offer a safer and more efficient way to travel. Following a hyperspace lane is like taking a highway through space, avoiding obstacles and ensuring a smooth journey. The existence of hyperspace lanes suggests that there's some kind of standardized system for navigating through hyperspace. This system might involve a common language or protocol that all ships adhere to, ensuring that they can safely travel along these lanes. This could be another example of a language in the context of hyperspace travel, a shared understanding that allows for coordinated movement through hyperspace. So, after all this exploration, what's our conclusion? While there's no definitive answer to the question of what language Lightspeed uses, it's likely that the process involves a combination of pre-programmed parameters, real-time calculations, and potentially even some form of intuitive interface. Instead of a traditional programming language, the language of hyperspace might be more akin to a set of instructions, parameters, or even a shared understanding that allows ships to navigate through hyperspace. The key takeaway is that Star Wars is a universe of wonder and imagination, and the technical details are often left to our interpretation. Whether it's a complex code, a mystical chant, or just a really fast dial-up connection, the magic of hyperspace travel lies in its ability to transport us to a galaxy far away. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.